Hey everyone, it's your girl Lexi coming in with some hot topics. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel. And remember, if you want to follow me on IG, it's at _millennial matchmaker. Again, _millennial matchmaker. Let's get into it. Tonight, we're going to talk to the ladies. We're going to get right on into it to the ladies. It's going to be how to make yourselves more marketable for the modern man. Yes, how the modern woman can make herself more marketable for the modern man. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Have your popcorn ready. It's going to get juicy. The first thing we're going to say is market yourself, lady. Number one, market yourself. Okay. Remember that everything is like shopping, right? You have to know who your target audience is. You have to know what kind of man you're looking for. Me personally, I like a businessman, meaning that I'm going to have to be a little more professional myself in the way that I dress, more sophisticated in how I dress, more sophisticated in how I speak, because that's the kind of man that I like. I love businessmen. Why? Because to me, well, we'll get to that later. The point is, that's the look that I like. That's the kind of man. Everybody has an ideal vision of the kind of man that they're going for. Professional, not just necessarily businessy, but professional, very well traveled, very well spoken, probably speaks another language, and just looks good in a suit and cleans up well. That's my type. And that's why I have to market myself for that kind of man. If you want to be with a more urban man, a guy that's got more swag, more trendy, might have the new J's and might have the new look, that kind of swagged out look, LA type look, ripped jeans, ripped type thing, then you want to have that stylish and that edgy look as well. Because normally people by nature feel more comfortable and more familiar when they see your photo or when they see you out in public. They think, oh, I could see with that kind of guy. I could see me with that kind of girl. It's just like you see a vegan guy, usually he's going to get with a vegan girl and they're on their page, and you see them on IG and they're making these no egg, no cheese, no chocolate muffins, and they're vegan. And that's what they do, because usually they get each other. They get each other. So you got to go after that market. Don't be like, you ever seen them commercials where it's a medical drug that they're selling, and it might be, let's say, for stopping a stroke, and then you see them fishing or on a boat and you're like, what the heck does that have to do with stopping a stroke? Shouldn't it be someone laid out on the floor, and then you're going to see them just, smiling and rowing their boat. Yeah, that's bad marketing. Okay, it doesn't make me think of a stroke. It's not going to make me remember that drug when my heart starts stopping. Okay, so let's not be that commercial. Okay, don't market yourself like that commercial. Don't let people come on the date and think, what is she doing here? Make sure that when he sees you, he's like, oh, I feel so comfortable. This seems like a soft place to land. I'm feeling myself. I feel so great with her. I don't know what it is. And you're thinking in the back of your mind, I've been working for you. I marketed myself for you. What you don't know is that I dress, walk, talk, act like the man that I want to attract. Okay? Hello. I'm rhyming tonight. Okay, so anyways, just remember that. Market yourself right. Know what you're going for. Be that soft place to land. Make sure when he sees you, it feels familiar. That was number one. The second thing you need to do is listen, ladies. If you want to be competitive, you got to listen. He's already heard the womp, 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 Charlie Brown, okay? You've got to make sure that you're listening. Why do I say we're listening? Yes, it's also because men love to talk as well. People don't know that, but men actually love to talk. Men talk so much sometimes that you are falling asleep. I think that if women just let men talk, we would see that they probably talk more than us. So the point is, let them talk, because as they talk, they start telling on themselves. Yes, ladies, they start telling on themselves. They're going to slowly start talking about, that girl on their job that looks good. Listen up. They're going to start talking about, the chick at the gym that was at the treadmill right beside him that asked him for, how to turn it on, and he helped her. Little stories like that. He's going to talk about, the lady that he helped, escort her groceries to the trunk. So start listening, ladies. See, that's a skill that we often forget, because as you listen, you'll hear. And the next time, after he's done told you about that chick at the gym 2-3 times, he's going to have whoopsie daisy a surprise when you show up in your yoga pants and you're running to him and you're like, babe, I just wanted to surprise you at the gym. How's it going? And you check that territory and you let Susie know he's taken. You feel me? So So these listening strategies actually help you show up. And I'm not saying be insecure and be crazy, but there's nothing wrong with stopping by your man's job, dropping off a little bit of lunch. Let your presence be known, okay? There are noble and discreet and honorary ways to be in the present and not be psycho or insecure. You know, what you're doing is you're listening so you know where you need to show up next. So when he starts talking about the gym, you know, start preparing your little tracksuit outfit, put it in the trunk, and make sure that you got it and you riding around that side of town when he calls you or texts you that he's at the gym. You know what I'm saying? These are just things that just reminds him of your presence. You know, a lot of people, I don't believe, okay, yeah, so cheaters are cheaters regardless. There's nothing you could do to stop that. However, I feel like women that just sit back and never show up and are never around, you're kind of also making it too easy, you know? So just, you know, sometimes stop at the job, sometimes stop at the gym, sometimes stop with colleagues, you know, do little things to show your presence. And trust me, y'all ain't gonna be sorry that I told you. You're gonna be thankful. So the next thing is, what you need to do is ask questions, okay? When you watch Crime ID, what do the police do? When they're trying to get to the bottom and crack the case and figure out who the hell you really are, they start asking you a lot of questions. When you go to court and they trying to figure out what the heck you lied about, they ask you a lot of questions. So why is it when we're dating, we want to play this, yes, I'm well, everything's good, peaches and roses, yes, ma'am, I'm okay. No. Start asking questions. Be strategic, though, ladies, on how you ask the questions. Don't sound like the police. Don't sound like the lawyer. Don't sound like you're in a deposition. However, you're getting the same effect, but you've got to reword the question to make it like you're interested, right? Oh, do tell. What do you think about that? Well, where do you see yourself? Well, if it was your situation, how would you react to that? You get me, girls? This is what you do in order to really get him to start telling on himself once again, because you got to ask the questions, but you also got to listen for the answer. Listening, asking, these are things that you do, and it will start to reveal itself, okay? Remember also, ladies, if you want to be competitive, watch what he does with little, because what he does with little will show you what he'll do with big, right? If he thinks it's okay to, you know, have a drink or two and then hop behind the wheel and drive you home, run. Yes, ladies, because that's telling you with little, yeah, it might have been a drink or two, but that means that he's willing to take the risk with that. He might, what else he gonna do with my life at hand? You know, you want to make sure if he's willing to cuss somebody out like it was a nobody's business out and about in his friend zone, then you gotta think, if he treats his friends like this, why wouldn't he do that with me? So you want to watch what he does with little. You want to see what he does if when nobody's watching. If he thinks it's funny or cool to pollute, like I don't play with pollution. I don't know. I've never liked it. I've never liked people throwing things out the window, leaving things on the floor and trying to ride off. I don't even like throwing my gum out the highway. I'm just not a pollution person. So to me, that also shows what you do with little is big, right? To me, I feel like people that actively pollute also are actively probably dirty people, or probably just messy people, or probably are just inconsiderate people or selfish people. That's where my mind goes. So just whatever it is that makes you think about what's little, just remember that it might and more than likely will be how they handle a bigger situation, or how they act when nobody's watching. That might how they act with when everybody's watching. You don't want to compete for that kind of man, okay? Because if you know, you might say, oh, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. It is, ladies. And make sure you keep the standard high. The next thing that you got to remember when you want to be competitive for a man, and notice I'm not talking about physical attributes, because I know that competition and actually keeping a man, beauty, first of all, if you're even on the date, you already checked off the beauty box, right? And that stuff is not going to keep you there. Like, I like to talk about what's going to keep you with the man, not what's going to get you with the man. So even though we could talk about the looks and the beauty products and all those things, that's probably another channel. Talk to go to a feminine channel or maybe a fashion channel. But right now we're talking about modern dating and millennial dating. And dating someone actually implies that it's a courtship, that it's continuous, that you're past the initial physical phase. And if you want to date properly, then you're going to need to remember that you need to figure out why you're good for him, right? Make sure that this person is really your match for the right reasons. Like I said, I like a professional man. Why? Because I like going to galas. I like going to socials. I like going to charity events. I'm an account manager. I'm a professional person myself. I've been with the same company for 7 years. I do sales. I love to sell myself. I love selling things. I love being professional. I love going to events. I love trade shows. I love things like that. Therefore, I want a man like that because I feel like we can enjoy ourselves on that. So whatever it is you like, remember that what you have to offer and why you like this person and why you're marketing this person is for a specific reason. Yes, ladies. The next thing you got to remember is communication. Yes. So many people don't know how to communicate properly. If you want to be competitive, you have to know how to communicate. And yes, you have to phrase yourself and say things that you can look back and look back and look back again and again and remember that you delivered it the best way possible. So a lot of women, we use silent treatment and we get quiet, and men get scared when we do that, but because that means that by the end of the night, it's going down. You know, it's going to be the Pearl Harbor and it's going to explode in that. You know what I mean? So the silent treatment scares men, right? And it's used for the wrong reasons. It's used unhealthily. It's used for just usually a bomb that's going to explode. And when the woman finally does talk, it's like, oh my God, why did I even ask her what was wrong? But silent treatment is actually a great tool, but it should be used to meditate, to think, to pause, and to say, what do I want as the end result? Do I want to scare him away, or do I want him to work on it? If the answer is you want him to work on it, then you're going to need to use the silent treatment and come back and communicate it as a real woman and say, hey, I didn't like that you did blase, blase, blah, and I would prefer if you did blue, blue, blue. That's it. Communicate. Use your words. Use your English language. Like that's what words are for. Express yourself in a mature way. Too many people nowadays, they get angry, they throw things, they're violent, they're mad, they cry, they're out of control, and you're not solving anything. You're just keeping this vacuum rolling with the dirty bag. You have to remember that the result is what counts, right? If you want to scare him away, then do the silent treatment, continue to do the bombing up in his face, getting crazy, getting angry, and you're still going to have the same issue the next day and wake up tomorrow and he's doing the same thing because you weren't able to communicate. Learn how to communicate. Say what it is that's bothering you. You know what it is that's bothering you. You know. I'm trying to think of a good, healthy example that doesn't get too ratchet because I'm trying to keep it PG. You know that you don't like that he doesn't have table manners. Or you know that you don't like how he flirts with women. You know that you don't like the way that he stays too late and has an excuse that seems a little sketchy on why he didn't come home. These are things that really boils with women's blood. And we start to think about it and it starts to manifest and it starts to create and then it starts reproducing in you. Then before you know it, you've got quintuplets up in you. Because you've created this whole entire angry story in your head instead of communicating. So just remember that when something goes wrong, stop, drop, and roll, okay? Don't roll, because that means roll out, but try to stop and drop and then tell them exactly what it is that you want them to fix. The next thing that you want to make sure that you do if you want to be competitive is bring your A game. Yes, ladies. Walk it like you talk it and make sure that you're bringing your A game to every date. You want him to bring his A game, so you got to bring your A game. You feel me? So that means when you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, give what you want to receive. If you don't want him having an off day, then you don't have an off day. Make sure you're bringing your A game every day, all the time. That means from when you wake up in the morning till you go to bed at night. That means yes after children. That means yes after marriage. That means yes after you've been together 3 years. That means yes after y'all bought your house together. Bring your A game every time. I can't stress this enough because you see, especially in the lady department where we just let it go. We're like, well, we got the guy. I'm just gonna put on these drawers that's got holes in them. I'm just gonna take this wig off in front of him. I'm just about to take off my face and just look like Who Shot John? Yeah. These things are dangerous, ladies. Don't ever, like a C student never got any award. An F student, even worse. And you want to make sure you stay in the A and B category. You want to make sure your report card's looking good. Bring your A game. You don't want to start getting comfortable with letting yourself go, being a slob, because it's just something that usually goes and takes wheels on its own and gets out of control. And no man wants that. They run. They don't want to have their boys over and have to wonder, honey, somebody's coming. And they're scared to know what you're going to come down those steps looking like because they know night before last you were Aunt Jemima. They don't want that. They want to know at all times, my chick bad looking like a bag of money. Ooh, okay. So they want to know that at all times, she's just woke up like this, like Beyonce said. So stay on your A game. Because if he's got to warn you more than once, twice, 3 times, honey, don't forget about the corporate function. Don't forget. Because they know that you might, some days you're on it, other days you're not on it. Nobody wants that. Be on it. And the next thing you got to do, and when you're being competitive, it's just like in a game. If you're competing in a date with someone, you've got to reflect and rewatch the game. So when you see a good coach, you hear all these NBA things. I don't know nothing about sports, but I know enough to know that I've heard enough coaches say, we rewatched that game and we saw how you could improve. When you see yourself, like even when I do these shows, I listen back to myself and I'm like, damn, I should have said this, or why didn't I say that, or I forgot this. So you always critiquing yourself, and you can only critique yourself by rewatching yourself. It's just like when you take a photo of yourself, you're like, ooh, that double chin's getting a little bit bigger. Ooh, my lips coming down a little more. My face, I need to uplift. So until you see the photo of yourself, you don't really start to see your flaws, right? So rewatch the way that you did that date. And that means that even on your first date, your second date, I'm always like that. And that's a great player, right? You look back and you think to yourself, what could I have done better? Did I say everything that I could have said? Even in a marriage, even in a relationship, I think that's the problem. Rewatch the relationship. Rewatch the days. And as time gets on, the longer you get together, in the beginning, you can start looking at day by day, date by date. Over time, it's got to be week by week, or you got to reflect month by month. What did I do last month that I could have done better? What did I do where I could help them get better? Where could I have gotten better about myself? These are the only ways that games win championships, because they rewatched the game and they said, dang, I dribbled it, but I could have dribbled here, and then I could have shook him up, and then I could have turned it around, and then I could have dunked on his behind, right? So that's the same thing with dating. Look back and say, did I do everything I could to make this person feel the best that he could feel? That's how you stay competitive, because your competition is sleeping. They're not rewatching. They're comfortable up in their bed, They've done called their girls and told them they got it in the bag, They didn't practice anymore, They started planning the wedding and honeymoon, and then whoop, whoop. The boy switched it up and was like, I don't see this working, shawty. I'm going to have to call it quits, And she got the rug pulled from under her. But the chick that was competitive was right there ready to catch the ball. Like, what's up? I've been here waiting because I rewatch my game and I'm ready for you, So the good player always stays on her toes. And staying on your toes is by self-critique, getting better, going in that lab and making that song sound better every time. Be competitive in all things you do, and your reward always pays off. And last but not least, I'm going to leave you with the good one. The best one is, after you've done all these things, let it go. Yes, y'all going to say, Lexi, what you mean you told me all this just to say let it go? Yes. Because a true boss and a true competitive person knows they've done everything they can. So if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, be prepared to walk at all times. I know that's hard for most people. Even 30 years in marriage, you got to have that mentality, because you never know how it's going to go. Just like COVID, you could have planned your whole 2020. You could have put down 20 racks on a wedding that was supposed to happen this year. You could have planned the most perfect birth announcement for your child with the biggest baby shower. You could have planned anything. But look, life happens where it just doesn't go your way. What are you going to do? Sit back and cry? What are you going to do? Jump off a bridge? No. You've got to keep it moving. You got to keep it pushing. And until you learn to say, hey, this is my plan, I'm going to do everything I can to prepare. But if this person chooses to walk, or this person doesn't choose me back, you always have to be prepared at all times to say, then it wasn't for me. Yes, it wasn't for you. The only thing, and the only thing that's guaranteed to you is, shoot, life isn't even guaranteed. Tomorrow isn't even guaranteed. I'm trying to think of what the heck is guaranteed. Whatever is guaranteed is just the now. That's it. The now is guaranteed. So you can prepare and do everything you want and listen to all of this, but make sure that you're not in the point where that person has power over you to where you think, I did everything I can. Now he's got to stay. He can't leave me. He can't go away from me. He can't. No. Remember at all times that you did everything you could do. But if they bailed on you, keep it moving. Keep it moving. So all I got to say is keep it moving. Okay? Let it go. Even in marriage, even in a long-term relationship, always be prepared to keep it moving. Always have a plan B. No, you shouldn't be pondering on it. No, you shouldn't be looking for a way out. No, you shouldn't be saying, oh, it's going to be exit. However, just know in the back of your mind, just like how you thought, this is how we're going to live our lives forever. Always have a backup. It's just like when you're on the plane, you be checking for the emergency exits and you check to make sure the person beside you or the person that's at the emergency window is literate and knows what the hell, how to open it up in case of an emergency. And you make sure everybody looks sane and, nobody looks like they're about to try to get in the cockpit. That's the same way what you have to always look at it in a relationship. You always got to go in, just like with a plane, it's safe. You got a less than 0.5% chance of crashing or whatever the statistic is. However, that don't mean that you ain't checking for the emergency exit and for that dang water slide in case some goes down, right? So check for your water slide in the relationship. Make sure I'm on this aircraft. It was built for perfection. I know that we're supposed to get to the destination, but in case of the unlikely event something happens, I know how to get out of here. So make sure that no matter what situation you're in, you always got you. That's it for tonight, guys. I love you. I love you. I love you, love you, love you.